Students, this is lecture number 27, Atomic Structure, class +1. In this lecture, I'm going to discuss electronic configuration of elements after atomic number 20. In my previous lecture, I mentioned electronic configuration of elements in the ground state up to atomic number 20. So there was a good concept point that after 18, next element atomic number is 19, and that is potassium. And this surprising thing was that in the third shell we have three subshells, 3s, 3p and 3d. After filling 3p, next term is of 3d. If we consider n plus L value for 3d, it comes out to be 5. And for 4s, this value comes out to be 4. And if we follow Aufbau's principle, subshells are filled in the increasing order of their energies. So according to that principle, energy of 4s subshell is lower, so it is filled first. So you can see. So in potassium, configuration is argon 4s1. Argon stands for 18 electron and 4s1 is coming, it is for 19th electron. If I take atomic number 20, this is calcium. Obviously it is argon 4s2. I mentioned it in the previous lecture. So this was according to the Aufbau's principle. But let me tell you what happens is, this is shell number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and supposing nucleus is here. So as there is increase in atomic number, mean when we move from hydrogen to helium, atomic number changes by 1. In hydrogen, Z is 1, 1 proton is there. In helium, Z is 2, means 2 protons are there. So when we move from one element to another, and in the increasing order of their atomic numbers, there is increase in nuclear charge. If there is increase in nuclear charge, it means attraction between electrons of the shells and nucleus increases, right? And when we do the filling of shells, we feel some screening of the shells, means electrons in the inner shells provide screening to the nuclear charge. Say, let me answer this. If I am nucleus and this is my first shell, due to filling of electrons in this shell, this shell will provide some screening. This will screen the nuclear charge. It means the charge which reaches to outer shell is lesser than expected. We call that as effective nuclear charge. So just try to analyze this thing. There is one term, Z effective, which is equal to Z minus S. What is Z? This is actual atomic number. And what is S? S is a constant known as screening constant. Right? How much screening is done? So Z effective is equal to Z minus S, and we find this screening constant with the help of Slater's rule. So I hope so this thing is clear to all of you. So as we fill the electrons, as we fill the shells, as we give electrons to the shells, they start screening the nuclear charge, due to which the effective nuclear charge observed by outer shells is lesser than expected. So now theory is changing. It means I want to say this is nucleus and these are shells. So when you add electrons to the shells, right, some screening effect is observed. And secondly, due to increase in nuclear charge, these shells will come closer to the nucleus. ठीक है, इसको मैं वैसे समझाता हूँ जैसे क्लास में स्टूडेंट्स बैठे हैं एंड टीचर तो वही है, टीचर इज अ न्यूक्लियस, वो स्टूडेंट्स को समझा रहा है एंड टीचर्स ने तो सभी बच्चों को इक्वल लेवल से बात करनी, क्योंकि टीचर एक है, पर उसमें से कुछ बच्चे सब्जेक्ट में इंटरेस्ट लेते हैं। जैसे जैसे इंटरेस्ट लेते हैं, न्यूक्लियस बच्चों के पास नहीं आ रहा, बच्चे न्यूक्लियस के पास आ रहे हैं। तो जिस बच्चे को जितना टॉपिक ज़्यादा समझ में आएगा, वो बच्चा न्यूक्लियस मीन्स टीचर के पास उतना ज़्यादा आने की कोशिश करेगा। कभी क्या होगा, बच्चे को वो टॉपिक, जो अच्छा बच्चा भी है शायद उसको कम समझ में आया, तो वो थोड़ा सा टीचर से दूर हो जाएगा, राइट। तो आई मीन टू से कि ये जो डिस्टेंस है न्यूक्लियस के साथ शेल्स का, ये चेंज करता है। और यहाँ चेंज करने का एक रीज़न ये भी है, हमारे पास यहाँ जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, एक S सबशेल के नाम का स्टूडेंट है, एक P सबशेल के नाम का स्टूडेंट है, एक D सबशेल के नाम का स्टूडेंट है, एक F सबशेल के नाम का स्टूडेंट है। तो ये सभी सबशेल न्यूक्लियस की तरफ अट्रैक्ट हो रही हैं, बट इक्वल मैग्नीट्यूड से नहीं। इनमें से जो S सबशेल है वो ज़्यादा न्यूक्लियस की तरफ खींची जाती है, उसको हम पेनिट्रेशन इफेक्ट कहते हैं। S सबशेल इज मोर पेनिट्रेटिंग पावर। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ all shells are coming towards nucleus, but not by equal magnitude, right? S सबशेल की जो penetration है, बस न्यूक्लियस की तरफ जो attraction है, खींच है, वो ज़्यादा है। So सबसे ज़्यादा S न्यूक्लियस की तरफ खींची जाती है because of its shapes of S orbital, इससे स्फेरिकली सिमेट्रिक होता है। उससे कम penetration P की होती है, उससे कम D की होती है, सबसे कम F की होती है। सो जो बेसिक लॉजिक हम लेके चल रहे हैं कि ऑल शेल्स आर अट्रैक्टेड बाय द न्यूक्लियस एंड व्हेन वी रीच हियर आफ्टर 3p6 out of 4s and 3d we say 4s has lower energy, of course, by Aufbau's principle, but the basic reason is that 4s has more penetrating power, right? That is why 4s is having lesser energy, so it comes in nearer to the nucleus. Now after filling 4s, competition is between 3d and 4p. 3d के लिए n plus l का वैल्यू 5 था, 4s के लिए क्या था, 4p के लिए क्या था, 5 था। जब दोनों का n plus l सेम है, तो किसको फिल करना है जिसका n की वैल्यू कम है? ये तो अब थ्योरेटिकल बात होगी ना। बट होता क्या है, जैसे ही 4s फिल हो जाती है, नेक्स्ट इलेक्ट्रॉन 3D में जाता है एंड 3D की शेप्स जो हम लेटर लेक्चर्स में सीखेंगे, ऐसी इनकी लोब्स होती हैं। जैसे जैसे इलेक्ट्रॉन इनमें जाता है, राइट, तो इसका स्क्रीनिंग इफेक्ट पुअर है, ये न्यूक्लियर चार्ज को स्क्रीन नहीं कर पाता एंड जिसके कारण क्या होता है, इसकी एनर्जी अब कम होनी शुरू हो जाती है। मीन सबसे पहले 4s की एनर्जी कम होती है, वो 3D से पहले फिल हो जाता है एंड उसके बाद जब इलेक्ट्रॉन 3D में जाता है तो 3D की एनर्जी कम होनी शुरू हो जाती है। द मोमेंट इलेक्ट्रॉन गोज टू 3D इसकी एनर्जी कम होनी शुरू हो जाती है, राइट। अब क्या होगा, इसकी एनर्जी कम होते होते ये 4s से भी कम हो जाएगी। दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। इट मीन्स व्हेन वी फिल 3D बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स शेप्स एंड पुअर स्क्रीनिंग इफेक्ट, एनर्जी जो 3D की कम हो रही है वो थोड़ी ज़्यादा कम हो रही है 4s से। इसीलिए अब जो फिलिंग होनी है वो 3D की फिलिंग होनी है और 3D को हम अंदर कंसिडर करेंगे, 4s को बाहर कंसिडर करेंगे। इसीलिए 3D इज नोन एज पेनल्टीमेट सबशेल। सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, आई गो टू एटॉमिक नंबर 21. दिस इज scandium, right? How do I mention it? Argon, Fine. 3D1, penultimate subshell, 4s2. Instead of 4s2 3d1, 4s2 3d1 is wrong. So we have to mention it. Yeah, I am not going to differentiate orbitals. I'm using subshell. So this is your 3d, this is 4s, 3d, 4s. So we have already given electron to 4s. You can see. Now this is your 3d1 4s2 for scandium. Now atomic number 22, titanium. This is argon. We have to follow Hund's rule now. 3d2, 4s2. And please mention it that next electron is going to second orbital of d subshell because of Hund's rule. And remember, species having unpaired electrons are known as paramagnetic substances. So those substances which have unpaired electron, they have their own net magnetic field, magnetic moment. So when you place such substances, कौन से substances? Those substances which have unpaired electron. When you place these substances in external magnetic field, then these substances are attracted by the external magnetic field. So these substances are known as paramagnetic substances. Now let me tell you, in an orbital, we can have at the most 2 electrons. As I said earlier, when electron is revolving around the nucleus, it is revolving as well as spinning. When electron is revolving in an orbital, this is known as orbital motion. It is a source of electric field and then it generates a magnetic field. So that magnetic field is because of orbital motion. Secondly, electron is spinning around its own axis also, which again generates a magnetic field. So in an atom, electron generates magnetic field because of 2 reasons. One, due to its orbital motion. Second, due to its spin motion. Okay. Now here you can well analyze. I'm talking about spin. When we have 1 electron in an orbital, it is spinning. It generates a magnetic field. And if we have 2 electrons in an orbital, so you can analyze, they are spinning in opposite direction. Means magnetic field generated by 1 electron will cancel out the magnetic field generated by the second electron of the same orbital. It means these will cancel each other. So the net magnetic moment will come out to be 0. So very interesting thing. तो अगर हमारे पास किसी एलिमेंट की कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऐसी है कि उसके पास अनपेयर्ड इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं, तो डेफिनेटली उसका कुछ मैग्नेटिक मोमेंट होगा. और वो सब्सटेंसेस जिनके पास अनपेयर्ड इलेक्ट्रॉन है, उनका अपना मैग्नेटिक मोमेंट होगा. उनको हम पैरामैग्नेटिक सब्सटेंसेस कहते हैं बिकॉज दे आर अट्रैक्टेड बाय द एक्सटर्नल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड. In those substances in which no unpaired electron is there, all orbitals are filled completely. So if all orbitals are filled, then magnetic field generated in one direction is cancelled out by the other direction. So net magnetic moment will come out to be 0. Such substances are known as diamagnetic substances, and these substances are repelled by external magnetic field. So I have mentioned 2 types of substances, paramagnetic and diamagnetic. And if you wish to find magnetic moment, there is a very simple formula, that is mu, right? Magnetic moment, for it is represented by symbol mu, which is equal to under root n plus 2 Bohr magneton. Right? The magnetic moment is under root n plus 2, and this is due to spin motion, and n represents what? Number of unpaired electron. So if we have scandium, right, if we have scandium, this is 3d1. See, then only one unpaired electron is there. Then you put n is equal to 1. So what is your answer? 1 plus 2, 3. Square root of 3. Square root 3 Bm. If I take titanium, we have 2 unpaired electrons. So 2 plus 2, 4 into 2, 8. This is under root 8 Bm. Is the magnetic moment of titanium due to 2 unpaired electrons. So very interesting and important thing. So keep on counting number of unpaired electrons. Now, if I move from scandium to titanium and then from titanium to next element vanadium, you can see atomic number 23. Vanadium, right? 23. See, 18 ये हो गया, 4s2 is filled, so argon 18, 4s2 23, it means this is 3d3. So the configuration of vanadium is argon 3d3 4s2, and 3d3 means 3 orbitals of same subshell containing single electron. So you can easily find out the magnetic moment. It has more magnetic moment now. Next element is 24. This is a very good case, exceptional case. We call this as chromium. We expect, I use word expect, this to be on the same pattern 3d4 4s2. As we expect electron is going to d subshell. Yeah, this is 3d4 4s2. But this is my expected configuration. So this is exceptional case. Now what happens is, you can see that 3d and 4s. Now 3d is lying, basically 3d is filled first now, as I explained earlier. So the energy difference between 3d and 4s is very less. So sometimes what happens is that electron moves from 4s to 3d. Obviously 4s was having lesser energy to 3d. It happens because see I write 3d 1 4s 2. Now electron from 4s shifts to 3d. Why it happens? Because obviously some energy is needed for this purpose. I'm saying 4s basically is having lower energy. Now you see that when I shift one electron from 4s to 3d, I get half filled configuration. This is completely remember this thing, half filled configuration. And we know one thing very well, the basic part of life, basic concept of life, symmetry leads to stability. So obviously some energy is exchanged in shifting electron, but after that this atom is acquiring stability because of completely half-filled configuration. So symmetry, because of symmetric configuration, half-filled is symmetric one, symmetry leads to stability. A very useful concept. Now exactly the second reason is that if I take D5, I name that as exchange energy. Exchange, a very good concept. Energy. Now if I write D5, just try to imagine I put first electron here, second here, third here, fourth here, fifth here, but ये वाला जो इलेक्ट्रॉन है मैंने यहाँ इसको रखा. I don't have any logic. I could have placed it here also, or here also, or here also. ये तो कहीं भी हो सकता था, right? Exactly. If I talk about this electron, though I am putting it here, it could have been here also or here also. So this is known as exchanges. All are of same energy. Everything is same. तो जितने हाफ फील्ड इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होंगे उनकी एक्सचेंजेस उतनी ज़्यादा पॉसिबल होंगी, और जितनी एक्सचेंजेस ज़्यादा होंगी उतनी सिस्टम की एनर्जी कम होगी, स्टेबिलिटी उतनी ज़्यादा होगी, राइट? जितनी मूवमेंट्स कम होंगी, स्टेबिलिटी उतनी कम होगी। तो इफ़ यू कंसिडर दिस, मैं इसकी जगह ये इलेक्ट्रॉन यहाँ भी रख सकता था, राइट? यहाँ भी हो सकता था, इट कुड हैव बीन हियर और हियर, राइट? एग्जैक्टली इफ आई कंसिडर सेकेंड इलेक्ट्रॉन, इसकी जो पॉसिबल मूवमेंट्स हो सकती थी वो ये हो सकती थी। इसी तरह इन ऑर्डर टू डिफरेंशिएट इट, लेट मी, या दिस इज द बेटर वे आउट, यहाँ and this. If you count that number 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, तो इसकी जो एक्सचेंजेस है वो 10 है। And if I take D4, that was our expected configuration, तो एक्सचेंज तो उसके साथ होगा ना जहां इलेक्ट्रॉन है, तो दूसरे के साथ थोड़ी ना होगा। तो इट मीन्स नाउ आई हैव ओनली 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, द पॉसिबिलिटीज इज दिस इज 3, दिस इज 2, 1, so number of exchanges are 6. So in which case exchanges are more? Obviously in case of D5. So though some energy is required for this shifting, but that is useful. Why? Because we get extra stable configuration. So we normally get such type of questions in exams. Write a note on exceptional configuration of chromium. So chromium is, please remember this thing, is 3d5. I'm going to rub this. Okay, let me write it here. Chromium is 3d5 4s1, see this, instead of 3d4 4s2. So this is actual configuration and ये वाला expected configuration है. So there are two basic logic: symmetry and exchange energies. Half-filled configuration leads to symmetry, and more the exchanges, more is the stability. Then we move to atomic number 25, sorry, manganese. If you see manganese, again follow the same thing, argon 18 plus 2, 20, 3d5. So the configuration of manganese is this: 3d5 4s2, 5 unpaired electrons are there. So if number of unpaired electrons are more, definitely magnetic moment is more. More the number of unpaired electron, more is the magnetic moment. It means their attraction towards magnetic field increases as the number of unpaired electron increases. Then 26 is iron. You can easily answer this: argon 18 plus 2, 20, 3d6, right? So electron is going to penultimate shell or subshell, 3d subshell, which is lying inside the 4s, right? Now 3d6, see, all orbitals are singly filled in case of degenerate orbitals. Now the 6th electron will come here. Very important thing. Now you will feel that number of unpaired electrons are decreasing. So this is argon 3d6 4s2. Iron is paramagnetic, and that paramagnetism is because of 4 unpaired electrons. Now next one, yeah, 27. Cobalt, very important case. This is argon 18 4s2 20 3d7. Right, now 3 unpaired electrons are there. 28. Nickel, Again a simple case, argon 4s2 20, 3d8. Right? Now if you put 3d8, this is, you have only 2 unpaired electrons in this case. 29, a very useful case. I'm putting a star here. This is again exceptional case. Copper, argon. It should be 3d9, 4s2, right? As we expect. But in actual practice, we know that the energy difference between 3d and 4 is very less. So what happens is one electron shifts from, it should be 3d9, 4s2. So one electron shifts from 4s to 3d. Reason being, by doing so, we get completely filled electronic configuration. And completely filled means more symmetric. And symmetry leads to stability. So that is again a very useful thing, that all orbitals are filled, and obviously number of exchanges are definitely more in this case. So the actual configuration of copper is, let me rub this. Actual argon 3d10, 4s1 instead of 3d9, 4s2. And 30th is zinc, again a very useful element, argon 18, 4s2, 3d10. This is for zinc. So zinc has no unpaired electron. You can well analyze from here. So zinc is diamagnetic because there is no unpaired electron in zinc. So this is the configuration of elements in the ground state up to atomic number 30. Now you need not to do more electronic configuration. That will come with time. So for your any level, electronic configuration up to 30 or 36 is more than sufficient to get a complete idea about this part. Hopefully you must be enjoying my lecture. Please subscribe my channel, see my channel, give reviews, and please do this favor. Thank you very much.